today's lab, we're going to start doing calorimetry. There's a nice video of it online, so you can look at how that works. I'm going to go ahead and kind of do a quick explanation. The idea of this is people count calories to deal with weight, and that's because a calorie is a unit of energy, and when you consume food, the energy from chemical bonds being broken and formed, the energy from chemical bonds is released. That energy is, of course, used by your body. If you don't use some of it, your body forms molecules called fat and stores the energy in the chemical bonds. So that's why people count calories. A calorie is actually a unit of energy. So a calorie is the amount of energy required to raise the temperature of 1 gram of water, excuse the writing, 1 Celsius degree. All right, a nutritionist calorie, a capital C-A-L, is a nutritionist calorie. And it's 1,000 little calories, or a kilocalorie. Now, because we understand how water absorbs heat and we can measure the amount of energy absorbed by water, what we're going to do in this experiment is we're going to determine the number of calories in Cheetos. And what we're going to do is we're going to take some Cheetos. Nice drawing, right? And we're going to burn it. And so we're going to take this, we're going to take the Cheetos and we're going to light it on fire. And this is going to give off heat. That heat is going to go into a calorimeter. In this case, it's going to be a soda can, like this, with water in the bottom, and a thermometer, and that's going to measure the temperature. So with the heat will go into here, and then the temperature will go up, and by the temperature change of the water, we can calculate the temperature change of the water, and we can use this equation, Q, which is the heat. Okay, Q is the mass of the water, what's called the specific heat of the water, which is 1 calorie per gram degree C, times the delta T, where delta T is the final temperature minus the initial temperature. All right, S, as I said, is the specific heat of water, and that's related to a calorie. In this case, where's that thingy? It's 1 calorie per gram degree C. All right, let me erase the board here. So the idea actually is that we're going to burn the Cheetos, release the heat. The heat will raise the temperature of the water, so we'll measure the temperature of the water before and after. By the change in temperature of the water, we know the specific heat, we'll measure the mass, we can get the energy, and the idea is that the Q of the Cheeto is going to be equal to the negative of the Q of the water plus the Q of the calorimeter. Let me explain the Q of the calorimeter. Right, the Q of the calorimeter will absorb some of the heat because it's a container. All right, so some of the heat goes into the calorimeter. So in the first part of the experiment, let me erase here. Let's use my other mouse to erase. Pretty cool, huh? In the first part of the experiment, we have to find out how much heat the calorimeter absorbs. And so what we'll do is in the first part of the experiment, we're going to take the calorimeter, and we'll have the Q of the calorimeter is negative, well, here, let's do this again. The Q of the water, Q in the first part of the experiment, hot water plus Q of the cold water plus the Q of the calorimeter equals 0. So we can say the Q of the calorimeter is negative of the Q of the hot water plus the Q of the cold water. And remember, Q of the hot water of the water is going to be ms delta T. So in the first part of the experiment, the idea is to calibrate the calorimeter. So we're going to put hot water in the calorimeter, or we'll have cold water in the calorimeter, we'll measure the temperature, we'll add hot water, we'll know the temperature of the hot water, they'll come to a final temperature. We can get the Q of the hot plus the Q of the cold. That will give us the Q of the calorimeter, and then we'll get what's called a calorimeter constant. We'll just call that C. That's going to be the Q of the calorimeter divided by the temperature change. The lab manual does a really good job explaining this, and then once we have the Q of the calorimeter, the calorimeter constant, we can use that for part B of the experiment and answer all the questions, do all the other calculations. All right, hope that helps with understanding what you're going to do, and there's a video that will demonstrate the technique, and then the data's made up for you, so you can go ahead and do it. We are not doing 2 trials, so you're just going to do 1 trial. Have fun.